Hundreds of animals have also been displaced because of the fires, and shelters are working around the clock to care for as many as possible in this crisis. One of those shelters is the Pasadena Humane, and we're joined now by the group's communications manager, Kevin McManus. Kevin, thanks so much for making time for us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Now, Kevin, I see that you adjusted the camera because there's a special little guy in the room with you. Are you able to manage him and tell us a little bit about him?
I think I can wrangle her in a sec. She's
or her. Excuse
the
me.
wrong dog to be on TV.
So, Kev, while you and she negotiate who's going to be in charge of this interview, tell me about the past few days. What's happened since the wildfires broke out? What have you all been dealing with at your shelter?
Well, since the fires broke in, we've taken in 550 plus animals into our care. We're right at the almost the epicenter of that fire, in that it's right above Pasadena, which is the neighborhood just to the north of Pasadena where we're located. The fires impacted so many of our residents, so many of our neighbors in both Pasadena and Pasadena, and also the other surrounding communities that also rely on us every day for animal control and care services.
So how are the animals coming to you?
I think a great thing and a great way one positive thing right from the start was a lot of people evacuated with their pets. And so being the emergency evacuation area or the evacuation for animals in our neighborhood, we knew that we would get a lot of folks in who had their pets with them. So we were prepared for that. And about 350 animals the very first day came in with their families. Their families knew to take their pets when they evacuated and bring them to us.
And we're looking at some of the images as you were speaking of the animals that have been brought in. There she is. Talk to us about some of the injuries that you've been seeing and how you all are managing this immense amount of pressure.
Well, we have, of course, as we would expect, seen a lot of animals come in with burns, with smoke inhalation, dehydrated. And we have an animal ICU that we operate all the time, just in case, any kind of like a hit by a car animal or anything like that. So we have the capability to do some triaging and treatment of animals in any kind of an emergency situation like that. We've never had to have so many animals in our ICU at one time, but thankfully we have some really great veterinarians on staff, and we've received a ton of support from the community through help from other vet hospitals who've been able to assist and send people who can help.
And this little girl who's with you right now, is she someone that was brought in because of the wildfires?
Well, we know she's here because of the wildfires, but she actually came in stray. So that's kind of the second wave of animals that we received. This one, thankfully, was able to dodge any kind of injury, so she's super healthy and, as you can see, a little bit active. But those are the animals where we saw more of the burns and the other injuries. And we suspect a lot of people, because of the way they had to evacuate so quickly, were not able to either get back to their homes or to wrangle their pets and bring them with them. So we do have a bunch of animals who are lost, and hopefully their owners will be able to reclaim them soon.
And if owners are not able to reclaim them, or if you have a bunch of strays or abandoned animals that are brought to you, what's going to happen to those animals?
Well, we are, so in California, we have, for any stray dog that comes into a shelter, we have a mandatory stray hold period. We are prepared to extend that stray hold period. We know that people had to leave at a moment's notice, and we know that people are looking for their pets. So on a positive note, we have all of our lost pets on our website, and that way people can quickly kind of scan through who's come in, see if their pets are here, and hopefully come in and reclaim them. But we've also decided to, made the, I think, correct call to extend that hold for as long as, I heard 3 weeks yesterday. And that way people have that window. Some people probably are out of the state at this point, but at least they have that chance to come back.
And so many of us have soft spots for animals. I mean, we're all feeling and hurting for the people, of course, who have lost their homes. And we know at least 16 people have died. It's so devastating. But there's something so tragically helpless about these animals. And you want to jump in some capacity. So how can people help?
Well, unfortunately, I think the care for the animals that have already come in and will be coming in does require a lot of funding. So if people are willing and able, financial donation immediately helps us to direct the resources where they're needed the most. People in our area, in Southern California, we've had to such an outpouring of wonderful support that we've had to stop taking in-kind donations temporarily, but we know that is going to be a need going forward. We will also, I'm sure, need, because we're going to hold on to these animals until their families get back on their feet. So we're going to need a lot of volunteer assistance with that. That's another kind of next week question, or this, I guess, it's Monday already. But we're going to start making a plan for how we can long-term care for the animals that we know will need that long-term care.
Kevin, I have to ask you this before I let you go. How do you do this? I mean, just looking at those pictures is so heartbreaking. These broken-hearted animals and the devastation all around you. And you guys are also dealing with your own personal safety. I mean, so far, your facility seems okay, but we've seen how chaotic the situation can be. How are you managing all of this?
You know, we're so lucky. We have an amazing staff here at the shelter, and we've all, of course, just like we would do in any kind of tragedy, bonded. We've got people who are normally working in our shelter shop, directing traffic. We've got people who are normally caring for cats and dogs in the front office, helping just with the massive amount of paperwork that is building up. And we have just amazing volunteers. So everyone is banding together. Pets unite us no matter what our political views are or differences we have. Who could not, look at a dog like this, licking one's face and think, oh, you know what, everything's going to be okay. And so I think that's how we do it. Animals, we all know that animals bring out such great emotions and give us such a good emotional state. So in that sense, we're lucky.
Kevin McManus, thank you so much for your time and best of luck.
Thank you so much for having me.